Picture I'm coming with you, dear Maria, count me in. There's a story at the bottom of this bottle and I'm the pen. When the lights grow up, I wanna watch the way you take the stage by storm. When you wrap the bowls around your finger, you wanna play the leader, 'cause you know it's what you're good at. The home run, fast track, make every second lay, yes, 'cause I got your picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria, count me in. There's a story at the bottom of this bottle and I'm the band. Make you care when I'm the one who's selling you out, 'cause it feels like stealing off following your name in the crowd. If you'll be the showgirl of the home team, I'll be the narrator, telling another tale of the American dream. I see your name in lights, we can make you a star. Girl, take the world by storm, it isn't that hard, 'cause I got your picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria, count me in. There's a story at the bottom of this bottle and I'm the bad. Make it count when I'm the one who's selling you out, 'cause it feels like stealing off calling your name from the crowd. Whoa. Make your breath on the sound so easy, never had a doubt, so I'm going crazy, watching from the floor. Take a breath and never sound so easy, never had a doubt, but the best believe it, always wanting more. 'Cause I got your picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria, count me in. There's a story at the bottom of this bottle and I'm the bad. Make you count when I'm the one who's selling you out, 'cause it feels like stealing, I'm calling your name from the crowd. What a picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria, count me in. There's a story at the bottom of this bottle